All right, guys, welcome to Awesomeness Hour with our first and special guest, Amity. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How excited are you? No shit, to be the first guest on
I'm
Awesomeness Hour.
excited.
Seriously, it's a big deal.
It feels like a big deal now.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I don't even think you're taking it as seriously as you should be.
Okay, I'll process it.
Try to work on that as we go through this chat. So here's the deal. First of all, we just want to have we're just going to have some fun today, but we want to start by kind of like everybody knows who you are, but they don't really know your story. They don't know how long you've been in the program, how you got in the program, why, what, when, all the details. So let's just start with a little quick chat on how long have you been in the program, weight loss, whatever, like what are your shareables? Like what have you got from it to this point?
Okay, so I met you at the Lululemon event
Mm-hmm.
and Marissa, Miss Marissa, and it was you were giving away a free 6-week phase.
Wow.
Holly, my dear friend Holly, had been pressuring me to go to all these different J events, and I was like, "No, you're crazy." In my little funk, remember I talked to Annie.
I
Tried to
know.
talk to Annie.
It doesn't lessen the shock of it.
So anyway, she told me to go. I went. I won and joined, like basically started cold turkey. I think I told this in the podcast, but I ate a Costco muffin before
Mm-hmm.
going to the event because I knew you were going to tell me I couldn't eat it. And then, so that was May 7th was my first day at a 5 o'clock in the morning workout and kind of going all in.
May 7th of 2019.
Correct. So
Okay.
no, 2018.
2018.
So,
So you've been with me for a year, and this May will be coming up on 2 years.
yeah,
Awesome.
correct. Yes. So I lost, I think, 36 pounds, gained some of that back with everything that's going on, but it will not stop me. I just am drinking a little more than I normally do.
Yeah. Normal.
Because I don't normally drink. I know it's weird. And then what else? I got down to like 14% body fat, like crazy low body
Awesome.
fat.
Yeah.
Then I got hurt. So that made me a little depressed for a while, but then I bounced back after that. And then now we're in COVID-19. So
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the cool things about not you getting hurt, but it was like, I think when you got hurt, I think your mindset was at a different place than it probably would have been if that would have happened like pre what we're doing. Like
oh yeah.
you kind of like, you had the motivation and mindset once you got injured to recover and then just keep going, as opposed to, I think the average person gets hurt doing something and they kind of like, well, this just wasn't meant to be. I'm just going to now go back to sitting on the couch.
It was more frustrating than anything because you know the level that you're performing at, especially at 5 o'clock and with everyone else, and then having to kind of like step back away from that and being put like in a different path there and watching everyone else that you stayed up with at the front
Yeah.
still doing their thing, that it was more of an internal struggle for me.
I get it. I get frustrated. Like I usually train alone and I'm like a weird person. Like when I'm working out alone, I'm always working out against myself. And when I've got something weird going on, like a shoulder or a leg or something, like it almost mind fucks you. You're like, what, you know what I mean? Like it pisses you off to a point where, you want to be back to that same level. So I think that's awesome though. Let me ask you this. So remember the day at the Lululemon thing, I remembered, I think I was sitting on top of the counter after I'd finished giving my talk and you came up and you gave me some like bullshit little half-ass answer of like, I don't even remember.
No, it was not a
It
bullshit.
was a bullshit. It was a half-ass answer because I remember saying like, you're either all in or you're not in at all. It was
I
something
think
to
I
that
said
effect.
okay, and you were like, no, tell me yes or
Oh,
something.
okay.
You
That's
were
right.
like 100%, and I was like 100%.
Okay.
And I
That's right.
did. I didn't drink coffee, and I started drinking the coffee protein. I know.
What did, what did you think though? I mean, obviously Holly had been like trying to get you to come to this stuff and like come to listen and be a part of it or whatever. I mean, why were you so skeptical? Like,
It just, to me at the time, it seemed like a lot of money, and like I felt like I could do it on my own.
let's stop right there. Cause how crazy is that? Because so seemed
Yeah,
like a lot of money, but now the first of the year rolls around and you're like, hey, take it all. Like I'll
right.
just, whatever you want, I'll be here for the year. So what shifted in your brain? How did it go from a lot of money to like, now you're like, whatever, like I want to be in for the whole year.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I remember at the end of the 6 weeks, you were like, you have three choices. You can quit, which I don't recommend. You can sign up for 6 weeks, or you can just pay for the rest of the year because it was like June and
Yeah.
the 6 weeks was ending. And I was like, okay, I'll pay for the rest of the year. So, I mean, you had me right away. I lost 12 pounds in the first 6 weeks. But I also was like, I don't know. I had weight to lose, but I don't think I needed to get to as skinny as I got, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, and then I think now that I gained a little bit of weight back before this COVID-19 thing, I feel like I have to keep prefacing it. There were people that were like, okay, you got like way too skinny. Like you're where you are now is like where you should be. And I, in my own world, felt like that's true too. Like I could live a little, I was not living outside of like, I would have my reward meal and that was it. Like I didn't splurge, I didn't cheat, I didn't do anything.
Right.
But then I kind of got down this path of like, okay, I'll have a little cheat here, a little reward here. Like I'm so at this level where I could just like do this or that. And then when I was injured, I kind of just like, I wasn't working out at the same level. So then I started to gain back a little bit of weight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it is that people are always afraid of that, right? They're always afraid of like, cause they get the people and they say, well, you're too skinny, you're this or you're that, you know, you're whatever. For me, it's really about the tool set. It's about like the skill set that you've got now. So like, you don't really have to worry about, and your body will always find its homeostasis or its equilibrium where it wants to be at. So I think even for those people out there who are getting the, hey, go eat a cheeseburger and go do this, go do that. Like, don't let that affect you in a negative fashion to say like, well, okay, I don't need to do this at all. It just, you've got the tools to get anywhere you want to get. So like now you probably have, it's like I always say, like I have more freedom now to do with nutritionally than most of you guys do because I've been doing it for so long. It's like the discipline equals freedom quotient.
Right. And I posted something along those lines the other day about like meeting your goals because I know like I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to be doing right now, but I also am self-aware enough to know that it's because I'm like a little bit depressed and I'm like living in a situation that no one's ever lived in before with my family and 2 small children 24 hours a day. So I know that like the second one, if I set my mind to it, I could do it. I could be right back where I was. And 2, the second that this opens up enough where we can go back to 5 a.m., I'm not going to be drinking at night. I'm going to go back to my normal life. So
you've got, I think that goes back to the skill set, right? You've got the tools now to like turn it back on whenever you want, which you probably didn't have that pre joining the program, right? No. Like you would have, it was just been a roller coaster of like ups and downs, but not even having the understanding of why it's really going up and down. So
yeah, I worked out all the time when I was pregnant the first time, kind of stopped the second pregnancy. And then after my second son was born, I just couldn't ever like get back to any like, just like motivating. I'm sure it was some sort of depression too, but
probably a laundry list of things, right?
Yeah.
Probably a
busy life, all that.
I love it. Well, we're glad you're here. So enough business talk. Let's open it up to some good questions. So I have compiled a few questions that I would like to know the answer to. And obviously I'm going to give you my take on some of these as well, because why not? We're going to get Marissa in the mix. So Marissa, keep watching the phone. If anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that, let us know so that we can definitely address them. We want everybody to feel like they're part of this conversation. And go. So one of my favorite questions is this. So a lot of times when Lori and I are driving somewhere, I remember we're going to Vegas. I mean, I can't remember if it was last year or whenever. And I don't know I think I asked her this question and we got into like a really long discussion about it, and you have to be quick now. You don't have time to study. You can't Google, you can't do anything. So if you, and this is the question, people have heard this question before, but if you could have a cocktail conversation, meaning like your favorite cocktail and these 3 people, just to like ask them questions and banter, whatever, who would the 3 people be and why? They can be alive. They can be dead. You don't have to know them. They can be anything. Go. First 3.
Okay. Taylor Swift is coming to mind and I have no idea why.
No, keep going. And why Taylor Swift? Give me a quick answer.
Because she was young and has done a lot in her like very short life. She has very good music. I like music. Marissa reminds me of that all the time because I kind of forget that. Okay. And I just think she would be fun.
Cool. I like it. Who's number 2?
Oh God.
Come on.
That one came easy. Hold on. Dead or alive?
Could be anybody. Just have a conversation with, like a cool, just a chat. Like, who would you want to hang out with for a little while?
I mean, I'm going celebrity for some reason.
That's okay.
I don't know why.
It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answers.
Okay, given this current state, this is my new person.
Do it.
The
Come
governor of California.
on. Weird one. Okay. Not me, but go
Just because
ahead.
of right now. This I
Okay.
probably have said him a week ago.
You want to pick his brain. I got you. Who else?
Yeah, just because of what's going on, and he seems like he's got, I don't know, he's very personable in his interviews, and I'm sure that's partly being a politician, but
He's a good-looking cat. Listen, good-looking people. Here's let me give you a little synopsis here. Good-looking people. He's a good-looking chap. Can get away with saying nothing, and people are like, "Guy's smart as shit." Like
the part that stuck out to me from yesterday, though, I know we were talking about his little press conference, was the part where he's like, "The kids need to go to school. Like parents should not be." It was just like very relatable.
Yeah,
he's living he gets.
That's part of being like. Who do we like? People like people who are like them, right? He says something that makes you like him. You're like,
true.
Of course, absolutely. Who else? Who's number 3? So we got Taylor Swift. We got Newsom. We got a weird bunch going on here.
Oh God. Who else? Reese Witherspoon.
Okay. Why?
I just have always liked her.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can dig it.
It seems like I could be friends with her.
I can dig it. I like that. See, that's kind of where I go. Well, I mean, a little bit. You might have a little bit. Go, Marissa. Who you got? 3?
Oh boy. Oh well, I didn't know I was gonna be on the spot for this one. Taylor Swift too, because I love her.
I mean, Taylor's gonna be busy.
She got me through my teenage years.
Okay, keep going.
Arnold Palmer, because I've always loved him since the beginning.
Makes sense.
I love him. I'd love to pick his brain.
Man, it's a hell of a knockdown 8 iron. Go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. And Jennifer Garner, because I think she's just one of the coolest people I've ever met, and I just want to be around her. Yeah,
I've got some questions.
I could go with her
but
too.
They're related to Ben. I want to know how crazy that son of a bitch is.
I want to know how that happened. I still don't get it.
Shit, fucking crazy. I got some stories about him that I can't share, but crazy as clown. Never mind. All right, here's my 3. You're gonna love this. Number 1 is Pablo Escobar.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, she wants Joe Exotic now. I can tell.
Hold on. You don't. No. You got your 3. No.
Good story for you. No.
About Pablo?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go now, or you want to finish?
No, you go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. It's your time.
All right. So Pablo Escobar, and here's why. So he died at 44 years old. Okay, some fun facts about Pablo. I've done my research. He died at 44, right? So he's a year younger than me. I'm 45, so we're kind of hometown. Like we wouldn't be. Like, I mean, if he was here now, like reincarnated, we'd be about the same age, but he was obviously older than me. Anyway, he was born on December 1st and died on December 2nd, which I think is kind of weird. Like, it's almost like metaphorically he lived a day, right? Not really, but sort of. But here's the kicker. At the time of his death, he was worth, this is probably underestimated value too. At the time of his death, at 44 years old, he was worth $30 billion. And before you even try to think about that, wrap your mind around this. Obviously, he was for people who don't know Pablo Escobar, he's the leader of the Medellin drug cartel, like probably the most successful drug lord of our time, or of any time for that matter. But he has summed a wealth of $30 billion with he couldn't advertise on social media. Like, no, you couldn't have QuickBooks. He couldn't, you know what I mean? He didn't, you know what I mean? Like, he did all of this, like, illegally or just under this. I mean, the brain that he must have, like, to be able to handle all of this, not to mention people trying to kill you and you're killing people. I mean, I would just be fascinated to know, like, how his brain worked. You know what I mean? Like, just the confines of, like, how you got from, like, there to, like, that level of, without anything, no technology, no nothing, just a pistol and a bad attitude. So that's him. He's going to get weirder. So I got him. And then my next one would be Dwayne Johnson. So The Rock.
Okay.
Only because I think he's hysterical. And my hope is that his online personality and persona is who he is in real life. That would be my hope. If it is, we could be homies. Because he loves to work out. I feel like we're brothers. I mean, a lot of people are like, Dwayne, and I'm like, no, it's the beard. And so I get that a lot, right? And so it's probably that too. But loves to work out, loves a good cocktail. His favorite snack is chocolate chip cookies, also my favorite snack. But I like his almost like like the rags to riches story. Like at one point had nothing. His mom and him got evicted from their home. He has a production company called $7 Productions, and because at the time that he started this whole like reincarnation. He literally had $7 to his name. And then also growing up, my favorite college where I wanted to go play football was the University of Miami, and he actually played for the University of Miami. So a lot of synergistic things there. And the third one would be weird. Huh?
He makes tequila now too.
I know. Yeah, he's got his own line of tequila. And the last one, I'm on the fence. I've got a 3, and then I've got a backup. So my backup is Oprah, and not really for any big other reason than she's interviewed so many people in the world. You know what I mean? Like you could just really talk to her and like get like from the Pope to prisoners. Like she's interviewed everybody in the gamut, but she wouldn't be my number 3. She's like she's on deck. My third one would be like, for me, it's a weird one, would be my dad. Like, I don't even know anything about my father. You know what I mean? Like, so at 5 years old, like, you know, he was killed. So I just like to sit down. I mean, I don't even know if I like the dude. Do we have anything in common? You know what I mean? Like you ask yourself these weird questions, like, would I even have liked my dad? Like, would we have got along? Are we anything alike? Like, you know what I mean? It's just those weird things you know nothing about. So those would be my 3. What's your story, Fruitcake?
Oh, well, not 100% sure now, but my dad was actually, it could have been, I'm pretty sure it was Pablo Escobar, but I'm like 99% sure. But when my dad back in the day, when he first started out in the ag business, he worked for Hard Squash. And so he traveled all over South America. And one of his clients, or one of the people that he had to go and see, was Pablo Escobar. So he was in a car with him going through, looking at all the hard squash that he had for sale. Yeah, little known secret. Pablo Escobar had hard squash that he was selling all around the world. And my dad said that was the easiest one because all he did was say, yep, all looks good, went home, because he was too afraid to say anything else.
Very interesting story.
Yeah. My dad said that was the most frightened he'd ever been, though.
Your dad's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, like my dad was
lucky to be alive or to not be addicted to cocaine. One of the both, maybe both.
One or the other.
Because Pablo could get you both of those.
Yeah, Bruce came out alive. So.
Amity, we may know the answer to this based on your post the other day. What was your first job? What's the first job you ever had?
McDonald's.
Was it the McDonald's? I was afraid it was. Yeah. So did you aspire to be a drive-thru girl at McDonald's, or how did that transpire?
No, they built a new one in my hometown, Scottsdale, Arizona. And my dad was like, you need to get a job. And I was 14 and like a half, I think, is when you can start working in Arizona. And so he was like, gave me the application, and I did. And then I worked there for, I think, a year. And then I went to be like a front desk girl at a hotel.
Did you
my
ever?
My sister worked at the same McDonald's for a lot longer.
Wow. Did you ever do anything besides the drive-thru? Did you do fries? Did you hash browns?
I think I did it all. But I mean,
burgers,
drive-thru was like my jam because I'm
Yeah.
organized, efficient.
I can see you at the drive-thru.
Yeah.
I can see you handling that. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be in the back anyway, like with all the grease and the.
No, I think I
fries
cooked like maybe once just to be like, well, give me a cook at McDonald's.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want you in the back cooking my burgers. I'd rather have you in the drive-thru.
Well, I will never.
Not that you can't cook, but I just don't see you in that role.
I won't eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like maybe fries on a really like desperate time, or an ice cream cone or something. But I'll drink the iced tea, but I do not eat McDonald's.
What was it like working at a fast, like kind of like something like McDonald's? Like, did it just kind of gross you out, or like?
Yeah,
what?
I mean,
yeah.
There are just certain smells that you'll never get over.
Totally. That's how I am with like hospitals, like and working in the hospital for so long. Like that smell literally makes me like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's the most repulsive thing ever. As soon as I would get home from work, I would have to take a shower and like just bleach myself immediately.
Yeah. I have friends now that their families own McDonald's, like one locally and then one in Arizona. And I don't know. I couldn't do it.
What was your, well, I mean, it was probably this. What was your first job?
No. I worked 2 weeks of cherry season, and that was being what? Oh,
what happened? Tell them.
I went back to golf.
No, what'd you do the first day you went to work for your dad?
I cried. It was my first job ever when I was injured from golf. So I came home for the summer from school, and my dad said, every kid has to work cherry season. So I got my fair share, and I got 2 weeks in, and it was the worst 2 weeks I've ever experienced. And I will never work cherries again. And all I had to do was weigh the cherries that came in every day.
Couldn't even weigh the cherries without crying.
Everybody was stressed out, so I was stressed out, and it was just, I'm not meant to work for cherries or do anything related in that. So 2 weeks, all it took.
2 weeks. My first legitimate job, paying job. So when you grow up in Texas, you like do you haul hay and you build fence and you shovel pig shit and stuff like that. But that's not really considered a job when you live there. That's just kind of your life. My first job was I was a lifeguard at the city pool. Believe it. Had a whistle, had everything. Talk about it. Huh?
Did you ever have to save anybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
So we had this giant city pool. I'm talking like not your average city pool. It was almost like an Olympic-sized pool. And we had these, this is back in, gosh, I would have been like 15 or so, 14. I couldn't drive, so I was riding my bike. I don't know. Back in the 80s anyway. We had a high dive. So it was probably like 20 feet up in the air high dive. And then we had a low dive as well. But the high dive was like super sketchy. It was dangerous. So people would constantly like do something stupid off of that and like almost knock themselves out, like going under the water or, just crazy shit. Yeah, super dangerous. There's no way in 2020 they're letting this thing go down. They're like, somebody shut it down. Yeah, it's like an amusement park ride. Like you should have to buy a ticket or sign a waiver. And it was, people would literally stand up on the rails over the thing and then jump down off of that onto the board and do like gainers and flips. It was super dangerous. Yeah. So you had to be on point. You couldn't just hang out and look cool. Yeah. So fun gig though. Fun gig. Blow my whistle. No running. Doing. Son of a bitch.
Power.
Oh yeah. Believe it. We got any questions or anything from the cast, Marissa? Anybody even watching, or is it just us three knuckleheads?
Oh no,
Okay.
We've got 18 people with us right now.
Okay. All right.
Well, actually, Rebecca asked, Amity, are you wearing your Lulu pants?
So you got to do a case.
I showered today.
You got to do a case from Zoom?
Home. Yeah, so we have like you can do not Zoom. They're not that high tech. It's telephonic. Oh. They call you on the phone, like your hardwired land phone. Yeah. And so I didn't have to say much, but I still won. They're basically they're trying to change the bail for people because they want their people to get out because, they're going to get sick.
Yeah.
So there's a whole new bail schedule. I'm sure you want to know about all this, but
hey, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
It doesn't pertain to the cases I prosecute because they're more, I don't know.
Serious.
Not more serious necessarily, but more like risk of someone getting hurt. So again,
I got you. I just say no. I wouldn't drop the bail on anybody.
Yeah, so his bail was not changed.
If I was you, I would recommend they increase it. Call him back up. Get him on the phone right now. Let's get that bail.
It's no bail. It can't be increased.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Then there's no sense getting dramatic. Totally fine with that. Sick of this shit. Okay, no questions. I got another great one.
We got a question. We got a question. Sorry.
My next one's good.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So last asked, if Amity was an attorney, what would she do?
If I wasn't?
If you weren't an attorney, what would you do?
In another life, event planning. My major in college was public relations and criminal justice. So I could have done, like Joyce's life is like, I live vicariously through her life. It sounds so fun. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to travel that much with kids my kids' age.
So event planner, something of that.
Event planner or like Joyce. I want to be Joyce.
Wow. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I don't know.
What is it about event planning that just really lights you up?
It's fun. Parties are fun.
Well, but the event planner doesn't necessarily get to go to the party.
You do. You set it all up and then you watch it.
You're not what's her name that was doing, you're not the wedding planner. You're not Jennifer Lopez in 19, whatever that was, that she played in a movie called Wedding Planner. Somebody looked that up, didn't she?
Yeah, the Wedding Planner. Yeah, it's called The Wedding
Planner. And then she fell in love with the guy or something, right?
Yeah, she fell.
Matthew McConaughey.
Why is that in my brain? I got to get that out of there.
She's the worst actress of all time.
She's not an actress first and foremost, and she knows that. She knows damn well she's not an actress, but I must have watched the show, so it must not have been that bad.
Good movie.
No.
I mean, Matthew McConaughey was in it, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
All right.
True. We have
Good-looking
another
cat.
question as
All
well.
right, let's do it.
Okay. Sandra asks, hi, Amity. What advice would you give to me, a newbie who always feels guilty when I don't hit every goal? How are you dealing with your new body and realizing you are more comfortable now than when you were too skinny?
Well, what advice would I give you? You can't be hard on yourself because you're human and you have to realize that you are probably still in the process of learning everything. I'm still in the process of learning and I'm 2 years in almost. So you just try to make less bad decisions and stick to the plan and don't break promises to yourself. All things Jay teaches us. And then getting more comfortable. I mean, I know that I've like done wrong to myself right now. So I'm not like 100% comfortable where I'm at, but I'm trying not to be hard on myself and make just like one better decision today than I did yesterday. Is that good? Does that help?
I think that's lovely. I think that's a great answer.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah. I mean, we all are just like trying our best, right?
I wouldn't disagree with any of those things. I think those are all really, I mean, one of the biggest ways that you'll waste time with this whole process is beating yourself up or feeling guilty or feeling negative or negative self-talk or all of those things. Like we all, human beings, we're the most imperfect creatures on the planet. And we're going to consistently do things that we wish we wouldn't have done. It's like Amity said, you want to minimize those things. And you do that by not breaking promises to yourself. Like if you say you're going to do something, you don't let yourself off the hook, because what happens is the more you let yourself off the hook, the easier it becomes to break that same promise again over and over and over and over again. But if you do break the promise and you don't fulfill what it is that you said you were going to do, you have to stop and think rationally. What good? Where's the power in beating myself up? Right? And I'm guilty as well. One of the things Lori told me when she first met me is I've never met another human being that is as hard on themselves as you. I have this weird ability to channel that hardness into performance, right? A lot of people, when they're hard on themselves, it turns into regressiveness, right? I'm hard on myself, therefore I'll just keep doing the same bad behavior over and over and over again. So you just kind of have to break that cycle of beating yourself up. And I think the real thing is like it's the honesty of and the mindfulness and the intentionalness of why did I do that? Make the decision, determination, and then is it something that's going to be repeatable if I don't change my behaviors and patterns? If it is, then I need to change my behaviors and patterns. It's the only time we go wrong in this whole process is when we let ourselves off the hook or when we break the promises to ourselves and then we make an excuse to validate that breaking of the promise, right? It's okay to screw up. But what happens is, and you know people like this, it's the people that break the promise and then they justify the breaking of the promise with a excuse that's really not valid to the actual act itself. That's what creates the negative feedback loop and the likelihood for that promise to get continually broken. There's zero shame, there's zero guilt that should be associated with trying your best and coming up a little short. I come up short every single day.
Honestly, today I told myself I'm going to go back and listen to my podcast because I hate hearing myself talk, but I think that like hearing my story told by myself to myself will help like regenerate some positive behavior.
And I think that's a beautiful idea. If you guys listen to the training call that I did this morning, I referenced The Purpose of Pain, which is my second book. I thought about the chapter in there I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I went back and I read 4 chapters of the book that I wrote yesterday, which seems very weird. I was even thinking like, who reads their own book? But it was valuable for me. Like I got value out of it because learning from ourselves and why we're doing the things we're doing is super powerful. So you have to begin to be very self-aware, and through that self-awareness that's where you get really the growth and the expansion and where you stop beating yourself up, Sandra. But most importantly, just give yourself some grace and know that Amity's been here in May. And so next month, is it next month, May? Next month will be 2 years, Sandra, 2 years. Okay. So you're brand new to the game. I mean, you're in the infancy stages of learning and growing and processing and, doing all the stuff. So don't put that pressure on yourself. I've been in the personal development game for over 10 years. I'm still in the process and growing and learning and doing all this stuff. So don't feel bad.
Can I add one more thing?
Do you need to?
Okay.
No, go ahead. No, we're Amity and I are fine. Amity she'll grant it.
No, it's just kind of building on that is beginning to see things as an opportunity rather than an obligation. Like even with the mistakes that you make, or like if you break promises to yourself, like going exactly what you guys just said too, like just being self-aware, taking that as an opportunity to be self-aware, to be more mindful, to be all those things that we're all working through right now, rather than it being an obligation, and just being able to begin to shift that perspective will be huge as well.
Perfecto. I agree 100%. Anybody else got any questions there down below?
No question.
I'll ask my question. Okay, so here's a great one. So if you haven't watched any of these, you can just defer. But so I believe that there's been 3 great like 30-minute sitcoms that have been developed since in my time, right?
Okay.
Probably more. These are the top 3 for me. So who's your favorite character from each of these sitcoms and why?
Okay.
First one is, if you haven't watched, then you can just defer and say I haven't watched it. So the first one is Seinfeld. Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yes, but oh god,
Okay.
picking a favorite
You
character.
gotta go. Who's your favorite? Who's the person?
Elaine.
Okay, perfect. Why?
Because she's crazy, and I can relate to her OCD-ness.
I like it. Okay.
I guess I don't know.
My second top of my top 3 sitcoms is obviously Friends. So who would your favorite in Friends be?
Monica, on a level of I can relate to her because I'm similar to her personality.
Wasn't she an event planner?
Oh, was she? Maybe.
I think
She was a chef.
She was a chef. That's right. So
I don't relate to that.
Okay.
I relate to her level of clean and organizing.
Mm-hmm.
But Rachel in like who I would want to be more like.
Okay. And lastly, Modern Family.
Claire, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got to add Schitt's Creek to this list.
I don't consider Netflix specialty type things, and these are classic.
Schitt's Creek isn't Netflix. It's
whatever it is.
Canadian TV.
These are classic American sitcoms. I mean, I could throw that.
Schitt's Creek is going to be on that list soon.
Lori's watched the entire thing. I haven't watched one episode. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. Agreed. All right. So you're too young for Seinfeld. Have you even heard of it?
I've seen it, but I can't tell you enough of the characters.
Right.
Like
Friends, are you old enough for Friends? Okay,
Friends,
who's Friends?
I'd say it'd be kind of similar to you, Amity, but with Rachel and Phoebe. I just find Phoebe so fascinating, and Rachel just because I think she's the coolest.
Okay. And then what about Modern Family?
I've only seen maybe like 1 or 2 episodes of Modern Family. I think it's funny, but I've only seen it on an airplane, I think.
Huh?
I've never actually like sat down and watched it. I've only like picked it when I needed a show to watch when I was flying.
What?
Yeah. That's the only time I can think of that I've actually watched it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, I'll give you mine. So Seinfeld, I think the show is impossible without George. It just wouldn't have worked without him. And more importantly, probably George's dad. He's the linchpin for me. Festivus is my favorite episode of them all. I love it when he says, "I went to the store to buy my son a doll." It's the best, one of the best lines of television. That was before its time, right? Friends is tough for me. So I've actually met a few of the cast members of Friends personally, which completely detracts from their actual character. Because when you realize somebody's not who they are on TV, you hate them. Because they're not in character. And so for me, Friends is a tough one. I think Friends is probably one of the best sitcoms out there. And little known fact, the same people who created Modern Family created Friends.
Oh,
there you
wow.
go. And they're 2 of the longest running like sitcom-y type things, 30-minute sitcoms in the history of television. Friends, I would have to go with it's a tough one. And now you got me thinking, like, who am I more like in the show? Obviously Rachel. I mean, not Rachel, but Monica, because she's so clean and OCD and a bit annoying and all of those things. I don't really relate to any of the dudes in the show. Joey's way too stupid. I've actually met Chandler in person, and he's a creepy joker. Ross, maybe nerdy, kind of nerdish. Phoebe, I thought was annoying. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Gunther from the coffee shop. I think without him, I mean, without the Central Perk, you've got nothing. And then Modern Family, I think Phil is one of the best characters on television. Funny thing is this. So I watched. Did you guys see the final episode of Modern Family? Probably
No,
not.
I'm behind a couple.
Okay,
seasons.
so I won't ruin it for you, but like a behind the scenes thing, because they've been around for so long. I think over 10 years, and they were talking about like who got cast first and why they got cast, and like all of those, types of nuances. So the creators went and they told ABC or whatever show it was on. They're like, we want, I can't think of his name right now. Phil, whatever Phil's real name is. We want this guy to play Phil. And they were like, no, because they already had Julie Bowen. They already had the dad. They already had almost the whole cast. They didn't have Phil's character. And they're like, no, we want somebody else. And they're like, no, he's going to be perfect. And so what they did is they staged they went to one of the producers' houses and they actually staged like scenes from the show to get Phil to be, who they wanted him to be. And they took that footage back to the actual, the ABC or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, okay, now we get it. So they actually really had to go to bat for him to like get him to be. And then they were saying on this thing, the head people were like, if we would have really effed up if we wouldn't have like listened to you guys and like took that advice of making him to be Phil. So I thought that was kind of a cool story, because it was like, he almost didn't get to be, a part of the show. And in my opinion, like, I don't think it would have been the same without him. Like, he kind of he's just quirky and weird enough, like, to make it work.
Yeah, he's really good.
Any these questions below? Nothing? Questions?
We
I got
have
a couple more and then we can go.
Comments.
We got
no
we got 17 minutes.
Well, Alyssa says, do you remember Chandler's girlfriend with that horrific laugh? Yeah.
Yes,
what was
I
her
do
name?
remember Chandler's girlfriend. Her name was Janice. What's up with this thing? I'm telling you, you guys get me on a trivia game, we will kick ass. Listen, two things. If we get a kickball team, I'm telling you, I'm your fucking guy. If we play trivia, you're gonna want me. I don't look that smart. There is shit in here. I just pulled out the wedding planner, Janice. There's stuff in here we don't even know about.
What was the girl? What was George's fiance that died licking the envelopes?
That's a tougher one. That is a tougher
Sorry
one.
if I ruined that for anyone.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know that one. That was not in there. Okay. I can picture her, blonde hair.
Yeah.
I remember the episode, but I cannot think of her name for the life of me. It'll come to me in my sleep tonight. So anyway, you guys, you're gonna want me on the team, promise. Especially if we have t-shirts.
Just pop culture or all trivia?
It doesn't matter. There's shit in here. I'm not even sure why it's in there.
Oh,
I wouldn't consider Jennifer Lopez in the wedding planner pop culture. That's useless information. There's a file and there's like a paper sack up top in there that has just a bunch of shit in it.
We have an answer.
Susan Ross.
Oh, yep.
Susan Ross. Susan, that's it. Yep. All right. Okay. These aren't really that fun questions, but I think they're valuable. So Amity, what's one thing that you've learned about yourself during Opportunity 2020? That's what I call COVID-19.
I am not meant to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. I think that's a valuable lesson.
Part-time, I could do it. Full-time, It's too much.
Perfect. Did you ever think you could have been a stay-at-home mom?
Nah.
Okay. So this just validated the point.
Yep.
Okay. Marissa, was there one thing you've learned about yourself during this opportunity?
Ooh. Yeah, it just made this very honest answer, kind of more serious, but just where my standards were not where I wanted to be. And it just made me more aware of it, and just all around of who I desire to be. I'm like nowhere near where I thought I was. So it just brought that out. And so now it's just, like you said, it's an opportunity to like get better every single day. So that's like one thing for sure.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Amity, what's one opportunity
What
that
have you learned?
Oh, you're asking me questions now.
Yeah.
You got to answer.
A bunch. You know what? A bunch. And I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is, and I think we all talk a lot of shit, right? That I'm this, I'm that, or whatever. For me, this has been a validating point that I am actually living what I teach, what I preach, what I say. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, in all honesty, like, this has been my demeanor from day one. And I feel like it'll be through day whatever we go to. It's validated my fact that I am like, and that's what Lori and I were doing, that we do this thing like every once in a while. She'll be like, you know, what's one thing, you know, you appreciate about me even more than you ever did. And her thing the other night, she said, we were doing that, and she said, your stability. So this is just, I mean, I don't get flustered by things. This is why if we go to the foxhole game, which is who do you want in your foxhole? You fuckers want me in your foxhole, because I'm just going to get the shit done. And this is, for me, it's just been validating to that like, it's nice to know that you really you're congruent with what you teach and what you preach. Right. So I always felt like I was, but you don't really know until sometimes like your feet are held to the fire. You think you'd behave a certain way, but you know, you might not when the shit hits the fan. So that's been one of the things. So that's been validating, and it's also let me know that I need to continue to work on that, because it's who I want to continue to show up and be.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
So, but with that, like, I just want my little 2 cents in there for you is something that, like, one of my favorite things about you and why I like love you so much is because you're the honest person I've ever met. Like, stability, honesty, you're congruent with everything that you're so aligned with everything that you say. And that's something that I like aspire, and you're the only person I've ever met that has been able to like prove that 100%.
Well, thank you. I that means a lot. I mean, because that's really who, at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's who we all want to be. And that's really who I aspire to be. Is I don't want to ever say anything that I don't do or believe or whatever. And that, you know, that can get you in trouble in life if you're not really flexible with other people's belief systems. But I promise you guys, just like Marissa said, if I say something, it's not bullshit. Like, I really am trying to live that type of life. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Amity, last question, maybe not last question, because we've got about 12 minutes. So what is one opportunity that you've created or taken advantage of during quarantine or opportunity 2020?
Well, as it relates to work, I guess just the fact that I'm allowed to work from home. So that's been really nice. And oops, hold on. I lost your video. There you are.
I can still see you.
I like at work, my volume of cases I have it's high, and obviously we don't have a lot of time, but now we don't have to go to court every day. So it's given me like a lot of time to just get caught up and prep to where I want to be in all my cases. So that's one thing. And then on the home front, I guess just like spending more time with my kids, and we're going to get a dog here in a couple of weeks. And so that's going to be something that we weren't really ready to take on, but it's given us the opportunity to do it because we'll be home to train the dog, walk the dog, and all that stuff.
Good.
And we lost our big dog last year. So that is kind of a hole that needed to be filled, but life just wasn't allowing for it. And then just like getting to know my kids. Like when the part that I realized about the stay-at-home part is I can't like teach them on the daily. Like, I have so much admiration for teachers, because I don't know how they get 25 to 30 kids in a classroom to listen and sit still and do their work and follow along, because I can't do it with 2. So just getting to know them, like when we play though, and the fun parts about it, it's been really, really great.
That is cool. I think that's a great opportunity. I mean, a lot of people might not even know, not just so their kids, but even maybe like their spouse, right? Because we all grow, right? I mean,
right.
You and Manny have been together for how long?
We've been married for this is our 8th year of marriage, and we've been together since 2007. So 14 years.
Okay.
13,
But so,
I'm bad at math.
And you've both grown in that time, right? So, I mean, you're probably like, you're always like getting to know each other as you grow and evolve and move.
Definitely. But we worked together for a really, really long time, and we met at work. So I feel like we have a different relationship in that regard. Like, I see all these funny tweets about people that don't know how their spouse works. And it's
Yeah.
like,
See, so
oh, I
you have
found
an
out.
advantage going in.
Yeah. So it's just like he's closer than we've ever been working together, I guess. But
And I feel like I'd be remiss if we didn't touch on this. I mean, because then, you know, in the current state of the way things are, I don't even know if that would be legal, but who asked who out?
oh, he did for sure.
Did he?
He was.
Don't try to put
That's
that
a whole
shit
story
on
that we do not need to go down the rabbit hole.
So so hold on, because I've met Manny. So you're telling me Manny rolls into your office one day looking all sweet and suave, and he's like, "Hey,"
Don't make me tell the story.
he's like, "Hey,
No.
hey, hey, Amity, how are you?" And you're like, "I'm fine, Manny. How are you?" And he's like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And you're like, "Nothing." And he's like, and you're like, "Sure." And then is that sorta or not even close?
Manny was engaged when I first started in the office. There was
Manny.
zero overlap.
You
But that's
savage.
Yeah.
Tell. Let's go.
no.
Yes.
We're going to go a little bit longer today, folks. Go ahead now, please. Here we go. Okay. Start at the
You can
beginning.
never join Thrive and watch this.
Start at the beginning. So Manny is
Engaged. He's
Okay.
been with her, I think, for like ever. Like
so
college.
we just call her her.
6 years.
So you can't stand her.
Well,
Her.
no, we're not going to talk about her. I have no
Her.
ill feelings towards this person. Obviously, it wasn't meant to be.
Okay, listen, her. Go ahead. Carry on.
I know her name. Stop. What is she?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
What
Just
if someone
okay.
in this group knows her?
I know. We're not even going to say
Yeah.
it. Let's just go.
Okay, so they were engaged. So he wasn't even like on my radar, but we were a paired together on the team. We were 4 people. It was misdemeanors. It was just crazy times.
Mhm.
And like I didn't ever know, but he offered to like let me drive his car one day, and I was like, why do I want to drive your car? Like weird.
Yeah. That's a big
But
deal.
he thought his car was cool. Apparently,
It's a big deal. The old driving of the car thing. Yeah. Okay. And you said you drove the car? You didn't drive the car.
Yeah, I drove the car.
We're on the edge here. Okay. So
I
this
said no at first because I thought it was weird.
so we're sharing transportation. Go ahead. What happened next?
So at some point, whatever, I started in December. I got in a really, really bad car accident. I was living in Orange County before I moved out here. So I
Okay.
moved out here one day, like a Friday. And then I went back to Orange County to go to this Christmas party, got in this horrible car accident, was in the hospital, couldn't start work. And so everyone thought that I was like, just decided I didn't want to move to India or the desert or whatever because I was coming from Orange County.
Yeah,
and so
what happened?
then right after Christmas was my first day in the office. I went in at some point to get, oh no, I know. We met the day that he got sworn into the bar. So it was like November 20th or something, because that's part of his proposal. But I didn't these were all just random people I was meeting that I was going to work with. I didn't think anything of it.
Sure.
Fast forward to January.
Big tall stud in the office, Manny. Tell me you didn't notice. And go ahead, keep going.
Anyway,
Keep going.
January
Handsome.
of whatever year,
Smells
2007, he breaks up with his fiance, tells me that he breaks up with his fiance, that he needs time to like work through it or whatever.
And by time, what are you doing tomorrow?
No, it was like a little bit.
What are you doing this weekend?
Anyway, and then our first like date was, do you remember Devane's in Rancho Mirage? Probably not. Okay. It was over by where there's a French restaurant there now. It's the Albertsons, I think, or across from Bristol Farms.
Oh, isn't it? Oh.
It's not Devane's anymore. It's something else. But so he got takeout from there, and we were like working because we had to work all the time in misdemeanors at my house.
I'm picturing like have you ever seen The Firm? I'm picturing like The Firm. It's like he's Tom Cruise.
No.
You're that chick. I don't know her name. And like, it's late night. Like, you know what I'm talking? Well, can I finish, please? And Tom, and he's working, and he's flustered, and you're like, let me take a look at that. Like you move over, you're like, let me look at that. And like you look at the document, and you're like, it's right here. And he's like, oh my God, how'd you know? And then your eyes connect, and then it's like, and then that's it. Can't go any further now. Tell me it was that's what happened.
No.
No?
It was slow, whatever. Anyway, it was nice. He's cute.
What'd you have? Who ate what? I mean, what'd you have?
I don't even remember. And then we went
to
our first like official date out was Valentine's Day. We went to Pacifica.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just sit outside? No,
we sat inside.
Sit inside.
It was like a last minute thing. We were like,
okay, all right. Lucky to get a seat. I don't know.
Anyway, so she saw us and text messaged him, and that was sad.
Oh, not sad enough though.
I mean,
You know what I'm
we've been
saying?
married for like 8 years. We have 2 kids.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Very nice. Okay. Good for Manny. Good for Manny. Tell Manny's got a high five coming his way. Well done, my friend. I like it. I like it. Okay.
No, he's very the most ethical, honest. Like,
oh no. Listen,
I know, but I'm just saying because
I don't think you've painted Manny with a bad brush here.
Okay.
I think he would. I mean,
tell me if I did.
No, he didn't get. I mean, he wasn't married.
No. It's
I mean, you know you. I mean, what was he gonna do? Right? What's he gonna do? So
anyway, that was a fun story. Okay.
Wow, fantastic, Manny. Okay. Well, evidently Manny's taken advantage of opportunities all along. We won't even get into that. Marissa, what opportunities have you taken advantage of during Opportunity 2020?
Meditating, actually. It's something that I've been like putting off for so long and made excuses for, and now every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I dedicate at least 15 to 20 minutes to meditating before I even do anything else. And I've made that like a huge routine where now it's a habit.
Love it.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, meditating is one of mine too. I've always meditated a little bit, but I've really dove deep into the practice now just because I have more time available. I mean, there's a bunch of things. I mean, I feel like I've coined this Opportunity 2020 because I really have like taken advantage. I mean, Lori and I are spending way more time together than we usually get to because we're both like so crazy working. You and I are creating a brand new product that we're going to be delivering soon. So that's super exciting. Just things we wouldn't have had time to do during, normal stuff just because it's so, 3:19 in the morning comes early and then, it's just this chaos the whole day. So yeah, just a bunch of awesome stuff that's been going to more time to connect with the tribe, just like doing these lives and getting to know everybody has been amazing. I mean, I think this has been a gift for all of us in that respect. So hopefully when this is all over, we keep continuing. Can you keep continuing something?
Yeah.
Might as well. I mean, what the hell, right?
Makes
It's my
sense.
show. I can do whatever I want. We continue to do that. I think that's important.
That was my second one, was being able to connect with the tribe, like just on like especially virtually, that was like always such an opportunity for us. And now it's like, cool, this is what's working, and like keeping them engaged and like even just getting to know them better.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
So fun. Yeah.
The messages from Marissa, the video messages on her walks.
Oh yeah.
My favorite.
Nice. See, I mean, I think it's important. I think we're all getting to know each other better and connecting in those levels. I think that's been super cool. We got about 2 minutes left. Check and see if we got any questions, and then we'll wrap it up and let Amity get on.
Amity. Apparently you're leaving some stuff out. According to your peeps, they're saying.
Let's don't embarrass Amity.
I'm not going to, but
well, it's already on Facebook if they wrote it. So
well, I think they're just saying you're leaving some stuff out. Listen, as we expect.
It's okay. It's okay.
Trust me, I've got my own version of what went down. Like you don't even need to. You don't even need.
It was nice. They're talking. I'm looking.
Yeah. Did anybody have any questions, Marissa?
No questions though.
Okay, cool. Amity, we appreciate you jumping on here, being the first official guest on the show. Thanks for doing that. Absolutely. Any parting words you'd like to?
God, no, I never have parting words.
You have any closing arguments?
No.
Come on.
No, I don't.
You have to say something. What do you got?
I don't know.
You can't. Well, what if it means winning or losing the trial? What would you say? I got nothing, Judge?
No, I planned that out long before I get to argue.
But what if you couldn't? Like, what if the attorney in charge went down, like passes out, and you got to come out of the
I would already have been preparing for it, like it was going to happen.
You guys hang out. Like I'm sure there's a bullpen somewhere where you guys are just all like hanging out and like going over ideas. Like, and you come running into the courtroom, hit those. You have those little swinging doors in there. You hit the little.
No, they open like this.
No, not the big ones. The little ones, but between the judge.
No.
And that's what I'm picturing.
Oh, but they do on like the backside. You don't get to walk through those. If you get that close,
but you do. You
get
fly
shot.
through those and like they fly open and you're there. Like, what would you say?
No, I don't know.
Nothing?
I don't know. But hey, I have a question. Are you going to go to jury duty if you get a jury summons?
I don't get jury summonses. So that's a tough one.
We need you to come in so you can see what we really do.
You don't want me in there.
Yes, it would be fun.
Because here's the problem. I'm going to want to hang out with you guys and not with the cast of characters.
So you'll get kicked off. You wouldn't sit on a jury anyway because you'd be like, I train all these people.
Yeah, I know, but see, well, why waste my time, right? Why waste my time? And if I show up in a robe like I would, like a judge's robe, and he's like, why are you wearing that? And I'm like, why are you wearing that? This is what I'm here for, right? And they'd be like, nope. And I'm like, well, then we got a fucking problem. Somebody's going home, right?
All right.
So it's either me or him. I'll go. I got shit to do. So that's kind of, I just walked you through how the whole thing would go down, right?
Okay.
So, you don't need that over there at the Indio courthouse and
they're gonna need it when this all.
Why?
Because there's gonna be so much backlog of trials.
Backlog? Just guilty.
See?
You don't need a jury for that.
Oh, well, we do.
I need to be putting charges and stuff over there. I'll change the system. Marissa, you got any parting words?
I do not. Either.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for joining us. Amity, thank you so much for joining us on the
Amity.
first Awesomeness Hour live. It's been
It was fun.
That was so fun.
All right, guys. Until tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got, can't even tell you who tomorrow is. It's gonna be fun though. I'll announce it tomorrow morning. Love you guys. See you.
Love you guys. Bye.